Greetings, everyone. Greetings, and welcome once again to Purpose Sphere. I'm excited about being with you. Thank you for coming in. It's been one of those days, so pardon the outfit. Um, didn't change today. We have a lot going on, um, but I'm here, and being here is the important thing. So, you see the thumbnail and everything. So that's always good to see that. And we're gonna be expanding a little bit in the coming weeks and adding a little bit more um, spice to the broadcast. Um, and I just want to give you a sample. So check this out. Well, that's 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 a taste of what we're going to be doing. Add a little bit more flavor because that's a part of who I am as well. I'm excited because what I want to talk about, um, I'm glad that I've been given the opportunity to have this platform because I think um, it's important to be able to be a voice and not to be a echo, a parakeet of someone else. I've been that before, and but it's time to make a change. It's time to do things differently. I'm very grateful and thankful for those that have my predecessors and those that have allowed me, and even to this day, allow me to stand on their shoulders to gain a different vantage point. So I'm grateful today. I'm going to be talking about equal but not the same. Equal but not the same, because it's important that um, we gain a perspective. And I'm not going to be long today, but I think it's important that we gain a better understanding of the idea of us being equal but not the same. And some it's because of that um, and the confusion about equality and understanding the difference between equality and sameness. Anyway, I also want to. I'm going to be talking about one of the books that we have, um, and I want to make sure you can see it. It's called Purpose Pearls of Wisdom, and it's going to be. It's a motivational book that I published a few years ago, and it's a book that talks about. It's a devotional that talks about the provisions of purpose, and because of that, and we're going to go into it probably in an upcoming broadcast. But I just wanted to lay the foundation that you can gain this book through our website, gapalmer.com, and uh, get a copy of the Purpose Pearls of Wisdom. Um, and it's, I think, a, a, a book that will fortify and build you up in the area of purpose to understand what purpose provides. A lot of times we fail to realize that purpose is what we're looking for, and we're expecting other things to provide what purpose is really designed to provide. So we want to talk about the provisions, and it's exciting. You're going to be blessed. You're going to be encouraged. You're going to be enlightened by uh, what purpose provides, or the provisions of purpose. So um, I'm excited about that too. But let's talk about the subject of equal but not the same, because it's something that we have to really focus on, because what's happening in our community culture and clan is that there's continuing this bickering and arguing over who's more important, uh, what came first, the chicken or the egg, uh, who's more important, who leads, who doesn't lead. I mean, it's ridiculous, because what it is we fail to realize the grand design, the divine design that has been given to us, and as a result of it, we are missing out on the real blessing, the real advantages, the real provisions that's set before us. And then because of that, we're lagging. We're lagging behind. We're finding that instead of coming together, we're being drawn further and further apart. And I'm hoping that we can build on coming together rather than going apart. And some folks think that I have issues relative to the genders, and that's not true. Um, a lot of times people make conclusions without asking questions. They draw the conclusions and things of what they think they know, or they think that they're hearing, or the things that they're listening to and not even hearing. So it's important to be able to hear and not just listen, right? So let's talk about equal. What makes us equal? Well, when we talk about the genders, and we have to look at it from um, a binary perspective, because I'm a firm believer that binary is the divine design. We have been made both, either not both, but either masculine or feminine, positive or negative, yin or yang, however you want to put it. But the bottom line is there is two, um, and that is the design, not of not just a biological design, but it is a divine design, and it is a design, uh, a divine design based on purpose, on the purpose that you have and I have been selected to bring and sent to bring. Now, the thing is, when we start looking at equal, the thing is this: we both design, both masculine and feminine design, starts as energy, and so there is no gender in the great beyond, or before, or in the universal sense, or in the divine sense, divine sense. There is no gender assignment. There is a energy assigned. There is an operational and a functional design, and not gender. So it's important that we continue to understand that it's important that we see that before there was anything, there is what we call, that is energy, or we call spirit or essence, and that understanding that those things bring to us an operational and a functional that is not gender. Um, and when I say operational, what we have to understand is, like, from a masculine perspective, that means that it's to insert, it's to inject and penetrate, or to pierce. That's what the masculine brings. The masculine energy brings, to be able to do those things, to inject, to insert something. It means to put in, to implant. It means to pierce. To pierce means to penetrate, or to go through and to settle in. And so it's important to understand that these are the operational and the functionality of the masculine energy. Again, it's not gender. It's operational. It's functionality. And that's important to understand, because what happens is, from the flip side, the feminine energy is to receive, nurture, incubate, and to secure And so it's very, very important that we understand that those are opposite, on the opposite end of the masculine. So even though it's opposite, it's really side by side. It's really side by side. Even as Adam and Eve was pulled from the rib or from the side. It's not like they were under, she was under. No, the masculine is not above or the feminine beneath. They are side by side. They are equal. They are equal, but different. They are not the same. And here's the problem. The problem is so many people are not embracing. They refuse to embrace their design, or it's not even about design yet. It's about the energy. It's about the spiritual energy, the spiritual design that has to be matriculate into another sphere or in another dimension, which is the physical dimension. And that happens as a result of birth. Before birth can happen, there has to be a design. There has to be a physical design. That's where we get our DNA, right? But before DNA is DMA. DMA is design, mission, and assignment, which is connected to purpose. So you have purpose, DMA, DNA, and then birth. Okay? And it's important that we understand that in birth, the design in birth is a type and shadow of DNA, or even before that is a type and shadow of the divine energy, or the masculine or feminine energy. Masculine and feminine energy it has to put on a certain physicality for it to operate and to function in this sphere. That energy cannot function in this sphere because it would be unlawful. It has, in order to be and to function in this sphere, there has to be a physicality. There has to be a DNA. There has to be a design. Okay? There has to be not only design, mission, and assignment, but it has to be a physical DNA, a physical build to give you lawful functionality here in this sphere. And so it becomes that this same essence is demonstrated and carries on into this physical realm. And if you are assigned a masculine energy, you will also receive a masculine DNA, because that is the best way for you to be able to carry out your purpose here on earth. You're not able to carry out purpose without understanding that your DNA is a direct result of your design, or the masculine or feminine energy that you've been assigned. So it's not your parents, it's not your choice, it's not my choice. It's a divine choice that assigned us through energy, and that energy that was determined came from a divine mind, a mastermind, if you would. And that mastermind is the mind of the creator. The creator is the master architect, right? The master architect, the creator of all things. And because the creator is that, the creator is in all things and has authority over all things. And so and that means the authority that is had is over everything, including us, to determine what masculinity, or whether we're going to have masculine energy or feminine energy. Now, neither one of these things, masculine energy or feminine energy, are independent of themselves. They are, but they aren't. They are still dependent on each other. That's thus the whole rib thing. It's indicative of being side by side and not one over the other. And so it's important that we understand that when we came into this sphere called Earth, when we came into this dimension that we live, it's important to understand that you are an idea. And the idea that you are came prior to even you becoming a glint in your parents' eyes, far long before. And there's some things that go into how you came about that energy. And we're going to talk about it when we start talking about the concepts of purposeology. When we look at the theory of purpose sphere and purposeology. So it's important to understand that when we look at the idea that you are a thought, that means you're not an accident. You're not a mistake. I don't care how you got here. You're not a mistake. You're not an error. You're an intentional idea. And the intentionality that comes with that idea comes with you having something to do in this sphere. Now, here's the thing about understanding equal but not the same, is that each one of us comes with purpose. Understanding this, purpose has a masculine and feminine aspect. It's important to understand that, because in understanding that purpose has a feminine and a masculine perspective means still that there's independence. There's not sameness, but there's equality. Because even though there's a feminine and masculine to the yin and yang of purpose, it's still not the same, but it still is equal. Because in purpose, you still need the feminine as much as you need the masculine. See, nothing has ever been done by accident, and everything that's been done is a reflection of that which is to be carried out in another sphere. It is a mirror almost, but only in the sense that the mirror, when we look at a mirror, there is a reflection of the trueness of the original image. So what we do here is a reflection of the sphere which we really come from, the real substance. Okay, we are the source. We are the resource. There's a difference between source and resource. Okay, we come from the source, and as coming from the source, we are a resource in this sphere, in this dimension. So it's important to understand that there is a masculine and a feminine to purpose, and everyone has different DNA, just like everyone has a different essence. That essence is assigned by purpose, which makes it individual. That makes it different than any other. No one has the same essence, purpose-wise. No one has the same essence or the same physicality, physical-wise, because purpose dictates individuality. Birth dictates or reflects individuality. We're individuals, and we bring that individuality to this sphere, but yet we also bring equality, a need for one another. It's important that we understand that we need one another. You're not better because you are a man. The idea of thinking that we are better is chauvinistic and misogynistic. And to think that a woman is better is misandry. And so it's feminist. Okay? Those ideas always turn and give a distorted perspective of what is real relative to equality here on earth. And it's because of misogyny and misandry that we have this idea that we are better than her, and she says she's better than you. And neither are better, both are equal. And that's because the divinity understood if there, with this thinking that one is better than the other, that it would add an imbalance to what's going on and what needs to happen here in earth. But in understanding that there is equality, we understand the need for one another and the interdependency of one another. It's important to understand that. And without us embracing that, what happens is we begin to look to other avenues to substantiate us, to help us. We look for something else to solidify us. And we look to our community, culture, and clan. What's popular in the culture? Who's popular in the culture? And what do we look for? We look for someone because they're popular in the culture and they have money. We think that they have a voice, and it doesn't work that way. We've given them one, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they have a voice. Because some of these people, because they have money, when they open their mouth, you begin to see and to hear some of the things that come out of their mouths, and their perspective on things is very, very distorted. But it's important that we understand that if we're going to hear equality, we've got to be able to understand that the truth has a sound, and the sound that truth has rings of equality, not inequality. It rings of balance and not of imbalance. It rings of truth and not of fallacy or opinion or my truth. I'm living my truth. Your truth is not truth. Your truth is your opinion and your perspective. What are you based? See, truth has to be based on something other than outside of ourselves. What is it your truth based on? That's what we have to ask that question. Where's your truth based? Not feelings. It can't be based on feelings. Why? Feelings are subjective. Feelings change not only from day to day, but from moment to moment. So it can't be on what we feel. See, what it has to be based on is logic. It has to be based, truth is based on logic, fact, right? Science. That's what truth is based on in this dimension. In the dimension before us, truth is based on principle. Principles solidify and give way to laws, truth, right? And so what we've got to understand is it's not about what we feel nor what we think. It has to be based on logic. Okay? It's important. So equal. Something that's equal means on the same, well, let me say it this way. Equal but not the same. And I've said it time and time again, and I'll continue to say it. Something that's equal, that's not the same. Speaking of science, in arithmetic, 5 plus 5 equals 10. But 6 plus 4 equals 10. It's still the same, but it is different. It is the same, but it's equal. It's equal, but not the same. It's equal, but not the same. 5 plus 5 equals 10. 6 plus 4 equals 10. Equal, but not the same. Why is that important? I hear so many people talking about what I bring to the table, what he brings to the table, what she brings to the table. What do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table? What do you bring to the table? Well, I bring this to the table. I feel like I bring this. I think I bring this. I want this. I want that. I need this. I need that. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. We are so enamored with being served that we can't understand that you're not sent here to be served. You're sent here to serve. And the only way that you can find that which you are supposed to serve is purpose. That's the only way. That's the only way to find what we're supposed to serve. Now, how do you do that? Good question. We have the means through our institute, the Purpose Institute, which is also on gapalmer.com. You can go there and sign up for our institute, which goes into showing our School of Purpose and how you can learn about how to find purpose. Listen, until you find purpose, you're existing. You're not living. Everything you're looking for in purpose is in purpose. Whatever you're looking for. And we're thinking what we're looking for, we can find through education, through working a job, which is just under broke, whereas we should be doing our work, not a job. The question is, what is your work? What is it that you're supposed to be doing? Right? What is your work? Not your job that keeps you just under broke. What is your work? And finding your work brings you to a place of stability, that brings you to a place where you establish boundaries because you know what your work is. Right? You know what your work is. So what we try to do is we try to find our work in our jobs. And I get it. Some folks, and I've done that. But at the same token, what you're doing is what we're doing when we do that is that we are spending our most valuable commodity that we cannot get back, and that's our time. The time that you're supposed to be working is what you're supposed to be working on, and not splitting that time with doing a job for someone else, fulfilling someone else's idea or someone else's dream, which may or may not be even connected to purpose. So it's important for us to find our work and not doing a job that keeps us just under broke. Well, I think I've gone long enough, and I'm hoping that you'll continue to tune in with us and stay with us. But I'm gonna ask you to do me a favor. Would you also do this? Would you like, subscribe? I always get that. Subscribe and hit the notification bell and like, please, this video. We need you to help this message to go viral. And I can't do it alone. I need your help, and I'm asking you for help. I'm asking for help. Would you do that? Would you please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell as we continue to share about the most important thing, and that's purpose. So until the next time we come together, remember this: purpose makes you super naturally. Until the next time.
In our current global climate, we're facing challenges never before experienced by this generation. oppositions where no one seems to have clear directions or answers to the risks facing us, confrontations like racial and gender unrest, political gerrymandering, toxic leadership, economic crisis, global pandemic, health threats, pre-existing medical conditions, isolation, boredom, and loneliness are driving people to desperation. As a result, people are confused, afraid, anxious, and perplexed, and they need answers to some tough questions and even tougher situations. They are looking into different outlets for answers to gain assurance and consolation. Some have drawn closer to the embrace of family, while others look more towards their friendships, education, and even religion. What we need is a fresh voice of truth and clarity, and not a stale religious echo from the past. There's a re-emerging voice on the horizon that isn't afraid to stand alone and give spiritual and mentally sound direction to a world searching for answers. G. Alfred Palmer offers a voice of sound human development and empowerment to those willing to hear. There's a need for new ideas to old principles, a perspective from a timeless origin, but with current vision. A thought leader who understands what it means to stand alone and speak truth when some are hard of hearing. But if you've been waiting to hear a voice that opens the gates of freedom and breaks the shackles of confusion to allow you to step forward into the dawning of a new and exciting future, then it's time to bridge the gap with Dr. G. Alfred Palmer. He is a dynamic speaker, thought leader, and entrepreneur, equipped to elevate, expand, and extend the development, empowerment, and leadership of his audiences. He stands ready to speak at your next event. His delivery is guaranteed to refresh, entertain, and transform. G. Alfred Palmer bridges the gap from uncertainty to the purpose, to passion, and leadership. Book him today for your next event, and you won't be disappointed.